guys, it's Tanasia and you're tuned in to Young, Saved, and Celibate. First of all, let me just say Happy New Year. I know that it's March, but this is the first video I have on my channel for the new year. I'm pretty sure. I think so. Anyways, if it's not, if it is, Happy New Year. I hope your new year is going great. Y'all, life has been lifing, guys, and sometimes I get caught up in like the order of things because I feel like, dang, I really need to be paying more attention to this, I really need to be paying more attention to that. But the truth of the matter is God has given me so much to steward over. He recently I was watching this pastor, and this pastor said it's not about an order, it's about an orbit. And so when you're following God, God is like your sun, and everything else in your life is just like orbiting around God. So like in certain seasons, God calls certain things to be at the forefront, and in other seasons, He causes other things to be at the forefront. So it's never just like, okay, family, this, that. It's really just orbiting around what God has called you to. So if you don't know, I'm in grad school. I'm graduating this May, but I have been doing so much with that. But I'm really hoping that this is my season for YouTube, which I can give back to you guys. So I have a few updates before we get started. Number one, I changed all my social media just so that everything is in the right place, and so that you guys can reach me. So if you have not, or if you were following me before, my new Instagram is Young, Saved, and Celibate on Instagram, and on TikTok it's the same thing, Young, Saved, and Celibate. On Facebook I also have a new page, Young, Saved, and Celibate with Tanasia Marie. So you can literally find me on any platform very easily. And guys, interact with me. If you have comments, any videos you want to do, any good stuff like that, please feel free to reach out to me, talk to me. I want to know what you guys are thinking. You can even use the comments if you feel in that way, but if you're a little bit shy, please feel free to hit up my DMs. So by the title of this video, you already know that we're talking about my year of being single. If just a short little recap, for the year of 2022, I decided to dedicate that to God and be intentionally single. I'm just going to do a little short recap, jam-packed in one session, just so that we're all on the same page, just in case you're new here, you don't know what's happening, or just in case you forgot, it's been a while. So basically in the year of 2021, your girl was going through it. I was in this toxic relationship. I went into depression. It was terrible, guys. It was really verbally abusive. And I'm one of those people, I realized about myself, I do care what people think. Like some people, but I don't care. I care what people think. So one of the biggest things about that relationship was that it was just verbally abusive, and it was like, you're this, you're that, you're this. And I really took on those identities, even though that's really not me. So fast forward to summer 2021, I was like, nah, I need to remind myself that I'm that girl. So I went and I had what I called like a Lori Harvey summer, or hot girl summer, and I was dating everybody. Like I had the time of my life. I was single, I was dating somebody, and I wanted to remember like exactly who I was. Mind you, I was celibate this entire time, and I had rules for myself. So there was no house visits. There was none of that stuff. There was none of that. So it was just a really good time to go out, you know, summertime vibes, whatever. But at the end of the summer, God was like, all right, that was cute. Time to wrap it up. And I just felt like towards the end of the summer, it was just like all of these different energies. And I just was like, I really don't see myself with any of these people, if I'm really being honest with myself. So I was like, And because of that, I really feel like God was calling me to spend a year by myself single. So from November 2021 up until, for the whole year of 2022, I dedicated myself to being intentionally single. So throughout this whole process, I've been getting like a lot of frequently asked questions about just what that means and how you be single for a year and what's all of that like. So I compiled them here, and I'm just gonna ask. Now, after this video, if you still have questions, like I said, please feel free to reach out to me. But I think that this is gonna cover a good scope of what I learned and who I became, and just the whole entire experience. All right, so let's get started. It says, why did you decide to be single for a year? So I kind of got into it a little bit just now, but just at the place of my life that I was in, that was one aspect. Like dating, just got out of a relationship, wanted to remind myself who I was, but I just didn't feel like I was dating with purpose. Number two, one of my friends, she was single for a year way before, maybe in like 2020 or something like that. And I remember when she told me, I was like, oh, that's cool. But I always know when God like wants me to do something, or He wants me to remember something, because it kind of just sticks in my spirit. So I had always remembered that she did that. But I was like, at the time of my life, I can't really remember where I was, but I was just like, that's not for me right now. But I stuck it in my back pocket and was like, when it is for me, I'm definitely gonna think about that or pursue that. So when I got into this moment, I was like, okay, bingo, that's the like now is the time. That's what I'm going to do. Another thing is, in the year 2021, I had turned 25. And anybody who has turned 25, you know that it's like you get this revelation kind of. You're like, wait, who am I? What is my life about? What am I going to be doing? Especially because as we were growing up, a lot of us thought by 25 we would have life figured out. We'd have a house, we'd be married, we'd have all of these things. But for me, when I turned 25, I had like this revelation, like these are the best years of my life. Like, I've always been marriage minded, but then I just had like this like light bulb that went off that was like, when you're married, you're gonna have to tend to your husband. Stay tuned for the Bible verse I'm gonna read later, but you have to tend to your husband. You might have kids. Like, you're never gonna be as free as you are right now. And then similarly, I have all of these visions and things that I feel like God has called me to do, and the math wasn't mathing. It's like, if I gotta do X, Y, and Z before this happens, then when am I going to get to it? So I just kind of felt like it was time for me to lock in on my personal goals, on my personal, on my purpose, and really get stuff done. So that's really why I was like, yeah, I think that spending this year with God is really going to help me to figure out myself, figure out what I want in life, and really to put my boots to the ground and get work done when it comes to like what I want to do. So for all of those reasons is why I decided to be single for a year. But the main thing is that I felt like God was like, yeah, this is your season to just be by yourself and really focus on yourself. What was I worried about being single for a year? Like I said, y'all, I turned 25 and I really desire to be married at a young age. Like, I don't know what's a young age, but like, I would say like before 30, I want to be married. So I was just like, God, if I give you a year and I'm already 25, then when is that going to happen for me? So I was worried about that. I also was worried about like, what would I say? Like, if people try to come on to me, like, cause no, I'm just kidding. But, like, there's, like, people who catcall, people who slide in your DMs, and it's like, dang, what I'm going to say when people come to me? Or, like, what if I miss out on somebody because I'm single for a year or whatever? So those are the kind of things that I was worried about when I first got started. The next question says, what was the hardest part about being single for a year? So when you're single for a year, there's no distractions. Like, you have to focus on, like, you have to really focus on where you're at and who you are. Like, there's no hiding your emotions. There's nothing to hide behind. There's no dates to go on, no phone calls to distract you. It's just really just you most of the time. So that was really hard. Also, I had to have some really hard conversations, like not only with people I dated, but even with some of my friends, because one of the things that I did do when I was single for years, I poured into a lot of my platonic relationships. But some of those required hard conversations, things that I would brush under the rug or sweep under the rug. Like, I have this one friend, she's a really great friend, but then I had to realize every time that I hang out with you or every time that I do X, I'm with you when I do it. Now, I'm not blaming you for me doing what I'm doing, but I have to be honest and be like, what is it about when I get with you that makes me do that? And unfortunately, like I said, I'm not blaming, but I was like, what's more important, my friendship with you or where I'm trying to go and trying to evolve? And so unfortunately, I've decided to take a break for that relationship. Maybe in the future we can be friends again, but that was something that I really had to have. And that was like hard conversations that we've never had for years of us being friends. So like, those are some of the examples of things that were like hard. Like, I had to like really get down to it and be like, where am I at? What do I need to work on? Why do I feel the way I feel? Why do I keep doing X, Y, and Z? And really getting to the root of that. What was the best parts? Y'all, I had a time. When I tell you guys I had a time during this single year, like anybody who knows me, and please follow me on social media so that you can see what I'm talking about. You can see like day-to-day interactions. But I had a time, y'all. First of all, me and my friends, we celebrated Valentine's Day. So that was the first time that I got to celebrate Valentine's Day in a non-romantic way and had the best time of my life. Like, hands down, that's top 3, if not top 1 of the best Valentine's Days that I had. Also, I took 2 solo trips, one to ATL and one to Tulum. A lot of these videos, I have videos about a lot of these stuff too. So just go back and watch my channel. You can see when I declared that I was going to be single for a year. You can see both of my vlogs to Tulum and ATL. You can see when I was going through depression. All of this stuff, most of the stuff you can find on my channel. So just go and binge watch your girl. Give me a couple likes or whatever. Anyways. I went to 2 trips, and the Tulum trip was so special to me because I just booked it. It was like a Wednesday and I left on Friday, and I just booked it and was like, what the heck? And I just went by myself. It was cool. It was spontaneous. It was so much fun. The ATL trip was special to me is because I went to this event called the Sexless tribe, and it was a whole bunch of celibate men and women, celibate abstinent men and women, and that was a time too. So I just had so much fun on those experiences. I used to plan days for myself. Like I put on my calendar tea day, took myself to the spa to get a massage. I took myself to go see Hades Town. I took myself to Steak Lobsters. I started this series on my Instagram called Single Saturdays, just promoting singleness and being happy when you're single. So guys, it was like literally, I can't even like continue to ramble off all of the things that I do, and those are just things pertaining to singleness. I accomplished so much in my professional and school life too. Like it was just, I really had a time last year, y'all. It was a great time. What was the worst parts? No, I'm just kidding. But some of the hardest parts or the worst parts was just feeling like I was stuck. I also have a video about this. But seeing like, I felt like I was stuck sometimes. Just when everyone around me, it seemed like as soon as I declared single, like I'm gonna be single for a year, everybody around me was getting married, getting engaged, having babies. My ex had a baby, and he was like one of my favorite exes. Like we were like best friends, even though we decided that we weren't gonna work out romantically. So that kind of stung and hurt. Also have a video about that. But that kind of like stung and hurt. And so I used to feel like just stuck or feel like I was like stagnant, and those moments were really hard because, or like some of my friends would be like, oh, we're gonna take a couples trip, and I'm like, so those were like some moments that were like really, I'm laughing about it now, but in the time it really does, it's really hard when you're feeling like, dang, God, have you forgotten about me? Like those are real feelings. Like, God, have you forgotten about me? Am I making a mistake? Is this ever going to happen for me? Is the things that I'm believing for ever really going to happen? So I did have a lot of those low moments in addition to doing like a lot of the hard work that I was telling you guys about. What did you learn over the past year? How much time y'all got? No, I'm just kidding. But what I learned over the past year is I really just learned where I was at. Like, because I started dating at a really young age. I would say like maybe, I would go as far to say I was dating at like 10. Obviously, these wasn't serious relationships, but like, you know, little middle school, elementary school boyfriends and stuff like that. But when you're in middle school or elementary school, you have middle school and elementary pain. But then when you get to high school, college, though the levels of pain go up. But what I noticed about myself is that I kind of just kept going from pain to pain to pain to pain to pain. Like different relationship, different situationship, but the same pain, and it hurt over time. So over time I started feeling like I was hard, like I got hardened. And even in some of my last relationships, people would be like, why do you have this wall up? And it's because I didn't even realize that I had a wall up, but because like more than one person said it to me, I was like, wait, hold on. And I just kind of felt like I was becoming numb to pain, and I was just like, not in a way that I wasn't disappointed, it still hurt, but I kind of tried to build this like defense mechanism so that I can protect myself. So in this year of celibacy, I was really, I was still celibate, but in this year of singleness, I was able to really be like, I just feel like God softened my heart over the course of the year. Like I was able to feel again. I was able to like trust again, and realizing that my trust is not in people, my trust is in the Lord. And whatever I went through, it's not only for me, but it's for other people, because I know that there's other people that feel the same way that I felt. So I was able to really be like, all right, just take time and allow God to like mend my heart. That was one of the biggest things. Also, when it came to like past trauma, I was able to see like really where I was. I started getting excited when I used to run into like an ex or stumble across a post, or somebody would tell me something and it will hurt, because I'll be like, all right, now I'm able to take inventory of exactly where I am, how far I've gotten, and how much I want to go. And I'm happy to declare that your girl is free. That was something that one of the biggest things I've learned. I learned a lot, but even about like myself and about the way that I talk to people. I've been working a lot on my femininity, because I'm a girl that gets it done. If you know me, you know that I'm a girl that like gets the job done. So I had to be real with myself and be like, okay, so how can I be softer? How can I be feminine? How can I prepare myself to attract the person that I want to be? So I've really been working on my feminine. So even sometimes when I want to be like, I find it funny how, I'd be like, okay, I was really bothered, or I really didn't like things, and just holding space for myself to be vulnerable. So that's something that I learned. I learned a lot of stuff, but I'm trying to just give you guys some of it. Again, if you have questions, I'll be happy to elaborate. How have I changed? Now, one of my favorite parts, not my favorite, it wasn't really fun at the time, but one of the things that I was really proud of myself from doing is I would like, because I was pouring so much into my platonic relationships, I would often spend time with a lot of my friends who are married in serious relationships and stuff. And one of my friends said to me right before she met her husband that she had to go through and block and like delete and cut off all access to anybody that she used to date, any of her exes, anybody that she used to like. And she put it this way. She was like, imagine your husband is online, but you have all of these people that are in front blocking the access. And when she said that, my mind was like, and I was like, that's so right. So that day, again, I felt God like pulling on me. I'm like, oh God, that's what you want me to do. Okay. So I went home. I was on the train home and I literally blocked and deleted all of my exes and anybody that was connected to my exes, like their friends, their families and stuff like that. Because what I realized about it is that I used to take pride in the fact that my exes would be like, oh, my exes would be like, oh, you know me better than anyone. You are the only person I can talk to. Can you help me with this? I'm like, yeah, they still need me. Oh, you are my fave. But it's like, what good is all of that? And what do I have to show for it? So it's like this full sense of pride. And I kind of just wanted to cut off access. And it was hard because some of my exes, we were actually like on good terms. Like, hey, see you doing that. Congratulations, you know, whatever. But it's like, I have to do what's best for me at the end of the day. And it was extremely hard because I had to do this for a lot of my exes' family members. And they didn't do nothing to me. But at what I had to realize is that they're going to support their family member as they should, but I have to focus on me and what's best for my healing and growth. And I kept praying to God for something new. I kept saying, God, I want something new. I want something new. I want something new. And in order to get something new, you have to be able to walk away from things that are old. So I just feel like that also has prepared me to be ready to date in the future. What kind of work did I do? Same thing. Or how have I grown? It's the same thing. I just learned more about myself, my triggers, what kind of person I want to be. And am I all the way there? No, but I'm on my way there. I know I need to work on my temper. I know I need to work on being kinder or sweeter or watching what I say. So I'm actively realizing where I'm at and what I need to do to get to where I want to be. In addition to having those hard conversations and cutting things off and changing habits. Would I do it again? I would do it again if God told me to do it again. But let's be honest, y'all. I told y'all that I want to be married young. So I'm actually excited with this newfound growth to get back in the dating era and like, you know, move steps towards that. But I do find comfort in y'all. When I tell y'all this was the best sleep I ever got in my life. Do you know what it's like to sleep and not worried about who's texting you, who's calling you, who's liking you, if you're gonna meet your husband or not gonna meet your husband? It was just this sense of peace, like whether he likes you, whether this is the right one. Like I just got like the best sleep of my life, and I was just such at peace. I was truly happy and learned to be happy in my own company and by myself. I would go on solo dates all of the time. So I really love that I've experienced that and that I currently have that, because I know that if anything ever goes wrong or if I need to go back to that place, that's a good place for me to be in. I'm not like, dang, it didn't work out again. I'm single again. It's miserable there. I know how to enjoy my singleness. And like, so yes, I would do it again if I needed to do it again. But the truth of the matter is your girl is trying to make moves now. But yeah, so this question says, how do I know I should stop dating for a year? So some of the advice, if you're constantly idolizing marriage or relationships, like when is my husband going to come? When is it going to come? You might need to be single for a year. If you have goals that you haven't completed that you want to complete, you might need to be single for a year. If you feel like God is pulling you to do that, you might need to be single for a year. If you haven't healed from past pain and you keep dating the same person over and over or feel like you're in a cycle, you may need to be single for a year. But these are just some of the ways that I knew I needed to be single for a year. But literally, if you just feel the pulling or the urge to do something, just do it. And so that could be for a half a year, it could be for a couple of months, it could be for 2 years. I highly recommend a year or more, just because so much can happen over a year. But those are some ways that I would say that you should know that you should not try it. Do I recommend not dating for a year? Highly recommend, just because I learned so much about myself and about who I am and where I need to go. And it's like, you can obviously invest so much time when it comes to a man or a woman, but how much are you willing to invest for yourself? So definitely highly recommend. What advice would you give to somebody who is interested in not dating for a year or about to start? I would just say, just do it and just trust God. Like, whenever you trust God, there's nothing that he won't do. Like, you can't outgive God. You can't do it. So I would just say, just do it. Don't think about what's going to happen. All the things that you are worried about, God is going to provide an answer. He provides a ram in a bush. So you don't have to be like, what's going to happen with this? What about this? God has you. So just do it. That's my advice. How do you feel now that the year is over? Funny story. So all of my friends who knew that I was like not dating for a year, they'd be like, oh my God, only 3 more months. Oh my God, the end of the year is approaching. Oh my God, what are you going to do now? And I just found that so funny because I was just like, I'm really not in a rush to start dating. Like I said, I had become so comfortable and so at ease and at peace with my singleness that I wasn't really in a rush to get back out there. Michael Todd had once said, like, when you're fasting, don't be in a rush after you fasted for 21 days, 40 days, whatever the amount of time. Don't be in a rush to go back to what you were already in. Like, that's just like it just reverses everything. And that's kind of was my approach. But I feel really great. And I also feel like I really have a better understanding for myself. And I feel like when I do date, I'm going to be better equipped. I'm a better me now. And also I realized my worth has really changed for myself. Like, so before I had lost like a lot of weight and I was like, oh yeah, I lost a lot of weight. I'm more desirable. So my confidence was through the roof. No tea, no shade. I gained most of that weight back. But now I still have the same confidence because I know what I'm worth. I know what my standards are. I know how to be like, actually, that's not good enough for me. So, I feel like I have that. So I feel great, honestly. I'm really in a great place to be. And that's good. And are you dating again? So, I'm still single. I'll say that. I'm still single. So I'm still single, but also my approach to dating has changed a lot. Like, I'm more so, let me read the Bible verse. So this is the Bible verse I got for you guys, and I think this will help explain everything. This is coming from First Corinthians chapter 7, verses 32. And it says, but I want you to be without care. He who is married, he who is unmarried cares for the things of the Lord and how he may please the Lord. I want you to be without care. There's a benefit in being single because you don't have to care about all of these things. Like, you really can focus on your relationship with God. And when you focus on your relationship with God, you see how tapped in and what's possible. The next part says, but he who is married cares about the things of the world, how he may please his wife. And then it goes on to say, and a married woman is concerned about how to feed her family. Going back to what I said before, it's just like when you're married, you have all of these other things to think about. You can no longer be like selfish with your time, selfish with your energy. You can't really zone in as much. So really enjoy your singleness season. I'm going to skip to verse 35, and it says, and I say this for your own profit, not that I may put you on a leash, but for what is proper, that you may serve the Lord without distraction. That really just wraps it up. Like, I don't even know what else I can say about that. I just want to encourage everybody that when you're single, you really, really can just tap in and have this grand experience with the Lord. And God is great company. So, that's really just to sum it up. Like, God has been talking with me, working with me, molding me, cutting and trimming my branches so that I can produce more fruit. And it's really just been like a really fruitful year. So that's really all that I have. Please let me know if you guys have any questions, comments. Don't forget to follow me on social media. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Turn on the bell notifications, all of that good stuff. And before we go, I just want to pray us out. Father God, I just thank you for every person that is tuned into this video, God. I ask that you meet them where they are, whether they're single and dating, whether they're engaged, or even if there's married people, God. Meet them where they are, God. God, I pray for everybody in their singleness season, God, and I ask that they have a connection to you, that they're plugged into you, that they can hear you, God. Remove any distractions, God. Remove any care, God. And for anybody who wants to be single and give a year to you, God, I just ask that you give them the courage to do so. Thank you, God, that you're concerned about everything that we're concerned about, God. Thank you that you are a provider, that you hear our hearts, that you can mend our wounds. Thank you that you can restore any amount of time, and you don't just take back what we lost, but you give us back more than with what we deserve. So, God, thank you for being an amazing Father. Thank you for being an amazing partner. Thank you for being with us on this journey and allowing us to just be on this earth and work for you. So God, I thank you for every single person. I thank you for what you've done in my life, and I hope that this blesses and touches somebody. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. I love you guys. Until next time, see you on the flip side.